Welcome back. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Idaho Senator Mike Crapo leading a bipartisan group of senators to a trip to Beijing, China, next week. The lawmakers are reportedly planning to meet with the U.S. business community in Shanghai, and they are also hoping to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. China's foreign ministry says that it hopes, quote, the United States will meet halfway and do more things that are conducive to dialogue, as if the United States hasn't been doing that. Joining me right now is the 70th Secretary of State of this great country and Fox News contributor, Mike Pompeo. Secretary, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Maria, it's great to be with you this morning.
I want to get your take on what can happen with this group of senators going to China. We've already sent, 3 or 4 cabinet members. They basically mocked us every time. One time actually had the nerve to feed and have Janet Yellen eat psychedelic mushrooms, as if that's supposed to be respectful. I have no idea what she was thinking. Having said that's another conversation. What do you think can get accomplished from this trip?
Yeah, well, I hope there's no more mushrooms served. But even more importantly, more seriously, I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know what it is they're going to say. If they actually went there and delivered a message that demonstrated American resolve, that said, we're not going to let you steal our intellectual property. We're not going to continue to let you operate laboratories in a way that kill millions of people around the world with a virus. We're going to make sure that a free and independent Taiwan will be protected from your predation, and the South China Sea will be something that is not your lake, but an international waterway. Then maybe there'd be some value to that, to show that Congress has a backbone, even if President Biden does not. But I fear they'll go there. It'll be mushy talk. They'll all come out and say, gosh, we had a great conversation. And the Chinese Communist Party will view that as weakness, and they'll continue their aggression against America.
Right, of course. And that aggression is pretty significant. We've been talking this morning about the spy balloon that traversed our country for a week, sending military secrets back. There's this massive surveillance program underway, Chinese police stations in America, fentanyl flowing, killing American citizens. And you just mentioned COVID. I'm still questioning whether or not that was intentional or a mistake, the leak from the Wuhan lab. What is China trying to do here? Gordon Chang says that the ultimate goal is to take on the U.S. and potentially go to war with America. What do you think?
Look, I think Gordon's got that right. In the end, Xi Jinping's goal is pretty clear. He has said as much. We don't have to guess what his goal is. His objective is global hegemony, political control, and a Chinese Communist Party Marxist model that the whole world will live under. He wants every country to live under a surveillance state dominated by Chinese surveillance and the digital currency from their country. He wants the capacity to control trade all around the world. He wants to grow his economy at the expense of ours, and he's done that. This is a man who is serious. He's on a mission. And sadly, this administration has refused to do the basic things that protect America from what Xi Jinping's intentions are. We know how to do it. We began this in the Trump administration. I'll concede there was lots of work left to do, but we were on the path towards defending the American people for what has been a war, at least on the American economy, for the last 30 years, and we just turned the other cheek, which was an enormous failure over those decades to protect America from China.
Well, there was nobody tougher than you against this threat of communist China. The Trump administration actually came up with practical ideas to push back. One of your brainchilds was that China initiative, where you actually were doing the work in terms of putting accountability in place. You were sending out indictments for those people who were selling intellectual property to communist China and not telling us. You closed down embassies because of the surveillance. What does Joe Biden do? He walks into the Oval Office and reverses all of that. You can't even say China initiative anymore, and we're not sure if he actually was paid by Beijing to cancel that China initiative. But my question is, why is no one willing to pull the economic lever? Okay, we've got Chinese companies traded on our exchanges right now. They still are not following the SEC auditing rules, by the way. They've got all this leeway to take their time before actually following the rules. The same with Russia. I know that, President Biden is calling on Congress to pass more aid for Ukraine. Lawmakers passed that stopgap funding bill without additional funding over the weekend for Ukraine, but what I have learned was that there are plenty of Russian companies embedded in our ETFs, in our capital markets. Doesn't that mean that American citizens are funding the expansion of communist China, funding the war on Ukraine by investing in Russian companies that are still able to be embedded in some of these exchanges? What kind of sanctions do we have if Americans are able to fund the Russia war?
Yeah, Maria, the sanctions that have been in place against Russia have been inadequate and not enforced. Your earlier comment about the China initiative is exactly right. This is first and foremost a confrontation about the economy, how it's going to be run. Are we going to create American jobs and wealth and prosperity? And frankly, opportunity for people all across the world? Are we going to operate under a Chinese Communist Party model that not only impacts Americans, but it's bad for the Chinese people, too? This administration walked away from the central idea, which was reciprocity. If you're going to buy land in the United States near our military facilities, we want to buy land in China near your military facilities. You know, it's laughable, Maria. That's not going to happen. But we have simply allowed them to operate under their own set of rules. It's punished us. It's benefited them. We have to stop that. I think there are people, members of Congress, I think there are business people, too, although probably too few, who understand the national security threat connected to the Chinese Communist Party. I pray that we get serious about this and do so soon. And when we do, we will reshape the Chinese Communist Party. It will begin to understand that it's going to have to operate on the world stage the same way we expect every country to. And once we demand that and hold them accountable for what they've done, I'm convinced we'll end up in a better place. I know for America, I believe for the whole world as well.
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree. I want to get your take on the money for Ukraine because there's this fight underway. President Biden addressed this yesterday, and he wants more funding for Ukraine. Watch this.
I fully expect the Speaker and the majority of the Republicans in Congress to keep their commitment to secure the passage of the support needed to help Ukraine as it defends itself against Russian aggression and brutality. We are the indispensable nation in the world, and let's begin to act like it. Make sure that American people and our allies and friends around the world know what we're doing and what we intend to do.
Secretary, why is this a wide open checkbook to Ukraine? U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan held a phone call with the head of Ukraine's presidential office to discuss Ukraine's urgent defense needs yesterday. The Pentagon says it still has over $5 billion to send weapons and other security assistance to Ukraine, but officials believe that that may only last for a few more months. The bottom line is, why do we have this open checkbook when, in fact, this administration hasn't even been serious with sanctions against Russia? Look at the sanctions that the U.S. and the allies have put in place against Russia. Are they pathetic? You still have Russian companies trading in America, meaning that investors are expanding their funding of Russia as it, commits war on Ukraine.
Well, Maria, I actually think we have an American interest in ensuring that Vladimir Putin is stopped, but President Biden has utterly failed at that. The Trump administration deterred Vladimir Putin for 4 years. He didn't take an inch of Ukraine. He took a fifth of it under President Obama and then went at it again as soon as we were gone. And his mistake is he talks about America as an indispensable nation and that we should act like it. No, we shouldn't act like it. We should be it. We should be the indispensable nation. And that means adopting something that Ronald Reagan said, right? He said, we win, they lose. Instead, the Biden's policy in Ukraine has been no one wins and no one loses, and we just drag this out and provide assistance piecemeal. We should have deterred Vladimir Putin. It's possible to do. And once he was not deterred, we should have imposed enormous cost. Real sanctions. Your point's exactly right. Not sanctions that look like Swiss cheese. Real sanctions in a way that would have ended this conflict a long time ago. Instead, they've piecemealed support to the Ukrainians. They haven't demanded Europe do enough. Had we done all of that, I am confident there'd be more Ukrainian children, women, innocent civilians alive today than there are as a result of the failed Biden administration's policies in Europe.
I mean, the policies regarding foreign affairs are just weak and pathetic. It's not just Russia. It's not just China. I mean, look at the wide open border. We've got people coming into the border that have been on the terrorist watch list. You know, no wonder that the communist China is exploiting the border to get Chinese nationals in as well. Your former colleague, Mark Green, chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, told me that he thinks that this is all being directed by Xi Jinping, that Chinese nationals are coming in to eventually act as saboteurs when Xi Jinping directs them. And I just spoke with Senator Roger Marshall. Here's what he said about it. Watch this.
Again, 18,000 Chinese nationals. These are military-aged men that are spies. That's exactly what they are. They are spies. They're coming in and setting up Confucius classes in public schools next to our military bases. They're doing cultural exchanges. They're now working in our universities and in our highest tech companies as well. They're stealing property. What Americans need to understand is if you're from China, you are married at the hip to the Chinese Communist Party. These people are spies.
Your thoughts, Secretary?
A wide open southern border is deeply dangerous. Just as we make sure sovereign nations around the world have the tools they need, we got to do it here first at home. We knew how to do it, Maria. You remember remain in Mexico. We had largely stopped the flow of illegals into our country, and the Biden administration came in within a minute or two, undid that policy. Not only Chinese nationals today, but you were talking earlier about Iran. These countries are on the march. We don't know who's coming across our border today, other than we can be sure that these are nefarious actors putting their people in places that we will regret someday, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. We must get control of our southern border. It is possible to do. Don't let them tell you it can't be done. We all know how to do it.
Yeah, and the Iran threat is another one. You're absolutely right. This administration unleashing $6 billion for the Iranians. I mean, what did you think they were going to do with that money?
The Iranians will use every ounce of that $6 billion to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, to threaten terror around the world, to build up its proxy forces in spots all throughout the Middle East. They'll challenge our Gulf Arab friends. The statement that the Biden administration made that says this aid's only going to go to serve the Iranian people is just farcical. No one believes it, even them. We should never have given them $1 billion for every hostage. It'll only result in more hostages being taken.
Unbelievable. And it's plain as sight, and yet they act as if it's not happening. Mr. Secretary, always a pleasure to see you. We so appreciate you weighing in on all of that. Thank you, sir.